I wanted to bring up Danny Masterson. Do you know who that is?
I do not, but I am awful with names.
Okay, so do you remember That So 70 show?
The 70? I
That
think
So
so.
70 show that had Ashton
Oh,
Kutcher,
yes.
Mila Kunis.
Yep.
Like all those people.
Yep. I mean, actually, I'm too young for that show.
Yeah. It wasn't in the 70s.
I know, I'm joking.
It started in 1988. That's a 70 show. Danny Masterson was Hyde.
Okay.
So he's the one with like the short, curly,
Yep.
like Jufro type thing.
Yep.
So, did you know about the sexual assault allegations that he was facing?
No.
Okay, well, he's been convicted of 2 grapes.
Convicted?
Convicted and sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a huge, like, deal in Scientology.
And there's no murder?
No, there's no murder.
And they convicted him 30 to life? That is great news. Normally you don't...
You do not get convictions like that with grape.
No. Wow.
So he has 5 accusers, and their accounts of what he did to them are, like, horrible. It's, like, legit grape. Like, no question, no doubt. Like, he treated them like a rag doll. Almost all of them said that's how they felt. Like, he would literally pick them up and throw them and put them in positions. Like, he wanted full and complete control.
Yeah, so trigger warning.
This is a huge trigger warning, yes.
Trigger warning.
So, like I said, he was a big deal in Scientology, and I feel like that is the most interesting aspect to this story. I don't want to go too deep into the allegations. I just want to mention, like, some highlights from it. In the trial, he was said to show no emotion whatsoever, which reporters always call that out, like, that serial killer showed no regret. I'm like, well, duh.
Yeah.
He's a serial R-wordist. He is not going to show any regret. He doesn't have any regret for doing that.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't.
Yeah,
they're a different
agreed.
breed of people.
Well, I think a good unbiased approach to that too is, even if you are looking at somebody who isn't a sociopath and does have empathy in a situation, you might not necessarily see it in a courtroom because they are worried for themselves. I mean, it's a human quality, self-preservation, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yes, when you're looking at a sociopath, agreed, you're not going to see it. Actually, you might see something because they're faking it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if he was showing something, I do think that would be the case,
Yes.
is that he would be faking it.
For sure.
But I find it interesting. The jury was deadlocked on the 3rd count. Like, there was, and I believe he actually went to court for some of these in the past too, because he has 5 accusers and they couldn't convict him. This was like kind of a big deal. And there is lots of accusations of the Church of Scientology suppressing these victims, and also, what it sounds like, having ties to the LAPD in some instances.
I'm sure.
And I think this really highlights the issues with the Church of Scientology. I've watched multiple documentaries on the Church of Scientology, and the way they roped in celebrities to make this church like a big deal, and their tactics, and like how they believe in like these past lives, and like these like interrogation almost tactics that they do
with their weird box.
Yeah, and how they like they absolutely will destroy your life if you do anything to speak up against them.
Yep.
I saw that the niece of the founder signed like a, what was it, 8 billion year contract when she was 8 years old or something like that. I could be off on the numbers, but I know she was like a little kid and signed like a multi-billion year contract with the Church of Scientology, which is supposed to sign away all of her reincarnated lives in the future.
Yep.
What now? Like, this church was created by a science fiction writer. What? Why are we...
Who was on his boat for his whole life running from law enforcement. Literally.
Why are we allowing this cult to exist still? It is a cult. Like, straight up, it's a cult. There is no doubt about it. It has all of the defining factors of a cult. So why is it like this prestigious church in LA that is allowed to run?
Isn't it weird, my last story, they were Scientologists?
That's why I brought it up, honestly, because I was like looking into this story and I'm like, no way, they're Scientologists. That's why he got such a little time. But you said it seemed like everything was okay. I just know that within the LAPD and the justice system in LA, the Scientologists, they have ties. They have ties to very rich, powerful people. Mm-hmm. They're extremely manipulative. They are extremely, like, future-sighted. Like, they plan very far in advance.
Could Scientology just be a fraternity? That's how it runs.
Yeah, it is how it runs, but it's also a cult.
Yeah. Yep. It is, if they believe what they preach. I wonder how high up you have to go in the chain before they stop believing what they preach.
Well, these allegations were brought forth, and the LAPD finally launched an investigation in 2017. I mean, they were brought forth way before then, like, by some of the victims, but officially, the LAPD started looking into him in 2017, and he started losing jobs because of it.
Good. So, I'm glad they charged him with what they did and gave him the sentence that they did, because we've already talked on here multiple times about how, sexual-based assaults are too lenient in their time served. It is too lenient in a lot of situations.
In my opinion, when you have a serial rapist, these sexual crimes that are repetitive in nature, at this point, the rate of this person reoffending is almost certain. It is like 80 to 90%. It is almost certain they will do it again, no matter what punishment you give them.
Yeah.
So at that point, when we look at those statistics, why are we letting these people back out on the streets?
Without ankle monitors and checking computers, yeah.
They need to, if they're going to be out in society, they have to have, like, safety guards, okay? Like, there needs to be some kind of eyes on them at all times. Mm-hmm. So then why let them back in the public? Like, I would rather us stop locking up drug addicts so we can lock up all the offenders. Mm-hmm. Drug addicts are the ones who need to be in rehabs. Sex offenders need to be in prison.
Yep.
And they can get some help in there. Like, I feel like mental health needs to be treated more in the prison system. Like, I feel like there needs to be a psychologist and therapist and stuff in there working at all times, just being honest.
Yes.
But, so there are 2 Jane Does that have not been, like, they have not been identified with the victims. Like, they don't want to be acknowledged. They're anonymous.
Sure.
And they were Scientologists. They were a part of the church. So one of them, Jane Doe 1, claims that in 2003 he gave her drinks, and then she was feeling like nauseous, and they were in a jacuzzi, and then she started not being able to see straight.
Oh, no.
So he picks her up, takes her to the bathroom, makes her throw up, puts her in the shower, washes her body without her consent, and then takes her to the bed and assaults her. And at that point, when she's struggling and punching him, he pulls out a gun and puts it to her head and says,
way.
He says, be quiet in the most mean way possible that you can imagine. I'm trying not to curse here. You know, shut up, but with the F word, okay? And holds it to her head. She tries to come out, talks to people at, you know, the Church of Scientology, asked to be able to report him. She literally asked for permission and is denied. She comes out anyway in 2004, and then the chief of the LAPD, the chief of police, says, you have no idea how effed you are.
To her?
Yeah.
No way.
It says the chief. Is there a chief in the church? I'm assuming that she later wrote to the churches and okay, no. It's the church's justice chief. I was getting they're talking about two police officers here.
Got it.
It's two separate people. The church's justice chief, okay, says you have no idea how effed you are. And then the LAPD did not pursue charges at that time. And it left her feeling scared. So she signed an NDA and accepted $400,000 as a settlement from Danny Masterson, and said that she got pressured into it by him and the church. Super messed up. Then a former girlfriend claims that it was normal for her to wake up to him raping her. And that there were multiple accounts of like domestic violence. And this all happened in like 2001. The church apparently ran a terror campaign against her, tried to ruin her life. And all of these women say that, you know, that the church really messed with them. I know one of these women said that they even like made it look like she was some kind of like porn actor or like it was like maybe an escort. They basically were falsely posting stuff online like she was a sex worker. So then there's Jane Doe too, said she pled for him to stop and he treated her like a rag doll, and did it so forcefully that she felt like she was going to vomit and that she lost control of her faculties.
Jeez, man, that's so hard to listen to.
These are violent. I just wanted to, that's all I'm going to speak on to it anymore because it is horrible. But I want to acknowledge that these are multiple accounts, even women who want to be anonymous because they're so terrified, and it's violent. It is vile allegations. It is horrible. Every single one of these is sickening. Like, so sickening. And the treatment they received by Danny and people close to him and the Church of Scientology. Just like
pushing it under like it's not important. It sounds like that's so ridiculous.
Exactly. That is exactly what they did. So he ended up getting a retrial after the jury was deadlocked. And the retrial was late April of this year, and he was found guilty on 2 accounts.
Good.
So in April, the Church of Scientology released a statement distancing itself from the women's allegations, insisting it has no policy prohibiting or discouraging members from reporting criminal conduct of members. Of course.
Yeah, you know how many people have come out against the Church of Scientology?
So many.
Yeah, one of the main ones is, oh gosh, what's that TV show with the couple, the husband and wife? It's a comedy. They're in New York. He delivers packages. Are
they like overweight kind of?
Yep.
Something. Oh gosh, I can't remember. I can't remember right now.
But it will have been posted here for our
I know
visual
what you're talking
viewers.
about, though.
Or wait, King of Queens? Yes, I think so.
Maybe.
I think
can't
it's King of Queens. And she was in Scientology for a very long time, tried to come out. They literally kidnapped her and forced her into a camp that wouldn't let her go, and forced an NDA signature, all kinds of stuff. It was wild, wild stuff, to the point where it's so wild that a lot of people came out and were like, there's no way this is true. It's impossible this is true. And it ended up being true.
Well, there's many accounts of stuff like this. Like,
jeez.
That's what I'm saying. This is a proven cult. I don't understand why it's being protected in this way. Like, why is it not labeled officially in a cult by the federal government and illegal for them to congregate?
How did they get their no tax status? Like,
it is only because they have powerful friends in high places.
Probably.
So as I said, after the trial, he's found guilty on 2 counts, okay, of grape, and it was basically hinted at throughout that he was drugging them, but I feel like that's never been officially, like, it's never been officiated, you know? But that is the assumption, that he was drugging them.
I mean, it sounds like it, based on that first-hand account.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make it more sure is if one of them got tested right after at the hospital. So.
Right, which I don't think happened, unfortunately.
It's very uncommon right after, because there's so much emotional distress in these situations that a lot of times it takes a couple days for people to get their head back on straight, to be like, gosh, I should have done this, I should have done that, and they're like in zombie mode because it's so
right. You're
horrible.
Emotionally shot. You are mentally shot. Like,
yes.
There is nothing other than, like, I mean, assault in any kind of way can be extremely jarring.
Yes.
But especially in this way, it literally makes you, like, go numb afterwards.
Yes.
You know? It's almost like the most intense depression you've ever had. So he was sentenced 30 years to life, and then right before his sentencing hearing, there was over 50 letters written by people who knew him that all claimed how good of a person he was. And among those people were his wife, Ashton Kutcher, and Mila Kunis.
No way.
That is what is getting all of the rumors going, and people like, what is going on here? Because Ashton Kutcher created Thorn, which is like a company that is for exploited children, like human trafficking.
Yeah.
That they developed like some kind of, software that is supposed to help catch traffickers. And that's incredible. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But people are now speculating, like, what is up with that? Are they Scientologists? So it's weird that his wife writes this letter, and then 12 days later, after he's sentenced, then she files for divorce. What is it called? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Why can I not pronounce that right now?
I don't know.
Irreconcilable. Oh my gosh. It's so embarrassing. I know this word.
Irreconcilable differences.
Whatever. You know what I mean. There's a brain block. I got like a brain block going on right now. So, yeah, she files for divorce, says the priority remains her daughter, which was a big part of her letter, was about their daughter and basically how she needed her father, which, sure, but when her father is a predator, I mean, how much does she really need him in her life? Like, how healthy and good of a father can he be if he's out here doing this? And was he doing it to his wife?
Abusing women.
Was he doing it to his wife?
I mean, based off the statement from the ex, unless you have consent ahead of time for touching while they're asleep, I mean...
Exactly. Like, he's done this to girlfriends, not just, like, random women that he picked up. These are women he knew.
Yep.
Anyway, so the victims, right before its sentencing, had their powerful impact statements, and then the judge had all of these letters from people. So Mila Kunis, said in her letter, throughout our time together, Danny has proven to be an amazing friend, confidant, and above all, an outstanding older brother figure to me. And her role was Jackie in that So 70s show. His caring nature and ability to offer guidance have been instrumental in my growth, both personally and professionally. She also said, as a father and husband and father to his daughter, has been nothing short of extraordinary. Witnessing his interactions with his daughter has been heartwarming and enlightening. He prioritizes his family, education, happiness above all else, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to being loving and responsible parent. As a father, he leads by example, instilling in her values that reflect integrity, compassion, and respect for others. And this is just part, okay? And she also mentions that his unwavering commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. Wow. Really impressive.
Oh man, yeah, that is. Does that drug statement even matter when you have a man that is violently assaulting women?
None of it matters. Everything she said was irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
She says this is relevant because it makes me question her. His influence on me in this regard has been invaluable. In an industry where the pressures and temptations of substance use can be overwhelming, he played a pivotal role in guiding me away from such destructive paths. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like, I don't know, it almost sounds like an abusee, a little bit.
So there have been allegations of inappropriate contact and just things that went on in the filming of the 70s show because Mila was super young, super young. I can't remember the age. You should look it up. How old was she when she's in 1998? Maybe you could just look up how old she is now. But that's when they started filming, was 1998. Probably a year before that, honestly, because the first season, it usually takes about a year to film.
14?
Yeah, she was a young teenager when they started this. Yep. And there have been allegations that there was some inappropriate stuff, kind of. I don't know exactly what, but it's been mentioned. It's kind of interesting, because Ashton Kutcher would have been an adult, I believe, at that point, and then they end up getting married. So Ashton Kutcher said he's an excellent role model and dedicated and loyal husband. He also portrayed him and describes how he gallantly defended a defenseless woman. There's an account of that. There was an incident where we went to a pizza parlor and a belligerent man entered who was berating his girlfriend. We had never met or seen these people before, but Danny was the first person to jump and defend this girl.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the case. I don't doubt that at all. I think a lot of times when we see sociopathic tendencies, as long as there's a crowd, they're going to do the right thing that sells the image, that gets the manipulation really driven home into who they are with everyone watching. But again, we go back to, who are they in the dark?
Exactly.
What monster comes out in the dark?
Like John Gacy, he was an outstanding citizen. Right. Everybody thought he was incredible. Secretly, he was abducting little boys and assaulting them and killing them.
Exactly.
BTK's another one. He's a family man. Rex Heuermann. There's lots of, great citizens and family men who end up being terrible, horrible, disgusting monsters. So he also talks about how he helped Danny, Ashton's saying that Danny helped raise money for first responders of 9/11. He was so kind on set. He never never saw my friend be anything other than the guy I've described. He also mentions the allegations. While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of rape by force, and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would be a tertiary injustice in and of itself. So the letter surfaced a day after the judge, Charlene Olmedo, sentenced him. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis put out an apology video for the victims. Like, we weren't trying to discredit them or say that he's not guilty. Like, they put out an apology video. I'd be really curious to watch it with you on stream at some point. But what do you guys think is up with this? Like, a lot of people are alleging that they think Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are probably in the Church of Scientology, and it's like a secret. They don't want people to know. They have some kind of allegiance there, and that's why they're doing this. It's really odd for them to write these character statements after he's been sentenced of such brutal, disgusting crimes and act like he is the most amazing man ever.
Yeah, it is really strange. I don't understand it either. And they're sure that it wasn't some kind of issue, like they intentionally wrote it after he was convicted?
They did write it after he was convicted.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Before sentencing. So these are character letters for the judge to take into consideration. So the victims will give an impact statement.
Yep.
And then the judge has these letters of this person's character, and he takes that into consideration in, how long or how bad should it be? Like, has this person impacted a lot of people positively? How many people have they affected negatively? Are they, should they ever be back in society? Are they a threat to society? Things like that.
Yeah.
So, Ashton literally says he's not an ongoing threat, and his daughter needs a father. And the wife says the same thing, saying that he was a life-saving partner. She's heartbroken he's not there with them. Every day's difficult. Basically saying he's never smoked a joint in his life.
Dude, that's so weird to even detail that, because weed's legal.
Oh, I know. Why do they keep talking about drugs? It makes no sense. She said, I know he's been convicted of serious crimes, but the man I married has only been an extraordinary husband to me and and a devoted father to our daughter. And also that they have phone calls daily to jail with him and his daughter.
That's all fine and dandy, but...
And there's lots of other people who worked with him that are also writing these letters. There's 50 letters. Is
there any possibility that the victim's stories can be untrue? Do we know anything about the case? Or was it very open, closed, cut, dry?
It wasn't cut and dry.
Here's proof that they were together, and you know what I mean?
I didn't watch the trial. All I have is the after, the articles written after.
Yep.
And they tell about the victims' stories and stuff, and they talk about the retrial and how the jury was deadlocked and could not make a decision the first time. And then this second time, they said he was guilty for 2, but then we're we don't know about the other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So they didn't find him guilty. So, it clearly can't be that cut and dry, or else he wouldn't have had to have a retrial the way Y&W Melly is, because the jury was deadlocked. They didn't know. I don't know if that means he has excellent lawyers that are just raising a lot of doubt. I don't know if that means that there's not enough substantial proof here. I don't know if it's because Scientology literally is that powerful. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'd be curious to look into it a little bit more and try and dig a little bit deeper, because, you're right. It's super Interesting. And he was a committed Scientology member?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And here is a picture of Mila Kunis, Wilmer Valderrama, Ashton Kutcher, Lauren Prepon, and Masterson, all members of, or cast from That So 70s show at the 11th annual Christmas Stories fundraiser, December 2003. And a lot of people have brought attention to this. This article is literally labeled How Danny Masterson Wooed Ashton Kutcher to Scientology. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that believe he got them into Scientology. And multiple of the cast and friends of his. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think
that's interesting.
I think that the fact that multiple women wanted to remain anonymous through all of this says a lot. They're afraid.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to watch a trial. I more wanted to ask questions about this, and I feel like the Church of Scientology has a proven track record of hiding things.
Were all the victims Scientologists?
Not all of them.
Okay.
Not the girlfriend. The Jane Does were.
That's very interesting.
So it's great risk to them personally to come out and say something like this, which makes me believe it.
Yeah, because Scientology would have some background history on them, know enough to be dangerous type situation. Yeah.
Yes, that's what makes me believe it more than anything, is the great personal risk of going against the church, because they literally, launch campaigns to destroy these women's lives.
Yeah. I
don't doubt that, because they have a proven track record of doing it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I mean, I want to know, why would they go to this if they weren't Scientologists? Just for him? Just to be nice for him?
Maybe. I think there's good evidence there. It's just a big leap, though, too. So without having some kind of picture, some kind of proof, something like that. Yeah. I understand this, and I do think that it's a realistic possibility that they could be going there for him. And with how Scientology is, I mean, Scientology runs off Hollywood stars being open about it. Tom Cruise, on Oprah, and all these Hollywood stars. I think Scientology gets people in there, and they have so many connections that they can make or break a Hollywood actor or actress. So, if you get in there early, I bet Scientology boosts your
You have
career.
Tons of connections at that point. You can network like crazy.
Yes.
Lauren Prepon, she was a Scientologist who renounced it and got out of it. So I would be interested in what she knows. She hasn't come out, I don't think, and really spoke against the church. She just said it wasn't aligning with her anymore. And Mila Kunis is Jewish. She is Jewish.
Yeah.
They have Shabbat every week. She is an active participant in that religion with her family. So I don't know how much weight there is to them being Scientologists. But I do think those...
The letters are still interesting.
The letters, though, if my friend was convicted of that, unless I totally didn't believe it at all, which in that case I would be publicly saying this isn't true, which they are not, then I would not do that. I would not write a letter like that.
Yeah.
That seems so strange to me.
It does. It feels very, 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 very weird. Yes, it does.
I just don't know what to think about it, and I want to know what everyone else thinks about it. Why did they write these letters?
Let us know why you think they wrote them, because the timing is weird. It wasn't written to the judge before anything. Well, I guess that wouldn't have
No,
mattered
it was
because the
for-
jury, it was just for the sentencing. Yeah, I got
No,
you.
it was written for that specific purpose of getting leniency on his
Yeah,
sentence. That's
yeah.
why there's 50 letters. Like,
I just thought it was weird timing, but
It's not.
You're right. Yeah, it's not. It's not. I don't know what I was thinking. It's just getting late.
you're just getting tired.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I want to know the why. I want to know what they were thinking, and I feel like their apology video doesn't really tell us that, so...
No.
But yeah, that's all I got on that for
Yeah.
now.
Let us know what you think. Let those thoughts riot in the comments below.
For sure.